I started working in industrial distribution in 1968. Distribution started out as probably the last major type of industry to embrace technology. Distributors still in today's world would like for everything to be in-house. We want one contact. We want one company. We want one support line we have to call. I think in today's world, the third-party packages are almost mandatory. I don't think there's any computer system out there in the world that's going to do every single thing every customer wants.
When you started, what was the ERP like?
When I started, we had a homegrown computer system in the company that I first was working with. In those days, a lot of people did that. They found someone that could write code, and they weren't going out and buying software. At the time that Epicor first came into being, it had proprietary hardware.
Tell us about AI, right? So you've seen technology kind of right when it started.
I love the concept of AI, but as a customer, I have to confess, a lot of times I don't like it. I think the world is maybe moving a little too far away from human interaction. And I don't know that business will ever be fun as it is today if you can't at least develop some relationships with human beings.
How can we learn from the leaders, educators, and experts in our industry? What can we take away from their successes and failures? How can we apply this to our businesses, our careers, and our lives? This is what we are here to find out. I'm your host, Karthik Chidambaram, CEO of DCKAP. We make systems, talk to each other for manufacturers and distributors. I love to learn and share that knowledge with others. This podcast is about having meaningful conversations that we can all learn from. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Driven by DCKAP podcast. Carolyn Hunt from Dallas, Texas, is an independent consultant specializing in the implementation of Epicor Prophet 21. She has over 50 years of experience in industrial distribution and over 25 years with Prophet 21. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
So Carolyn, great to see you and excited for this conversation. You've been in the industrial distribution for over 50 years.
Yes.
And specializing in Prophet 21 for over 25.
Yes.
So that's a lot, right? So I'm just curious, how has the industry evolved over the years from where you started to now?
The industry has really done a lot in probably the last decade, more than any other time, because I started working in industrial distribution in 1968. So that gives your fans, an opportunity to see how long I've seen distribution grow. Distribution started out as probably the last major type of industry to embrace technology. A lot of things were still being done manual. A lot of them did very, very basic stuff just to get by. And as they've grown, they've had to get into computer systems, some of them kicking and screaming. A lot of them had employees that didn't even know how to turn a computer on, much less how to conduct business with it. So over the years, I've seen these customers, and a lot of these customers I've known for maybe 25 years or more, learn to embrace technology. They want to do third-party applications now, when before, if they couldn't do it inside of their core software, they just didn't touch it. They didn't do B2B. B2B became a big thing, several years ago now, but it was not something those of us in industrial distribution ever thought we would need, because most of us in the industrial distribution realm build our companies on relationships. I mean, we provide services. We don't just sell things. We provide services as well. Epicor Prophet 21 has helped us do that. And then third-party packages have helped us even grow that more. So the biggest change for me is that maybe most of us are finally moving into the 21st century and really embracing the technology.
Embracing change. Do you remember your first consulting engagement?
Very much so. Very much so. I remember the very first one I did, and it was really interesting because the first question they had was, when we print a purchase order, we can't reprint it. It just disappears from the system and we don't know what to do. And I knew exactly what they were doing that was making that happen. So within an instant, I went from a fairly new consultant to being a hero. I mean, it was like a very, I don't like to think I'm egotistical at all, but it was a big high for me, is that I was able to actually help this customer figure out how to resolve their issues. And from there, I worked with that company for, oh golly, probably close to 20 years, all in all. And then a couple of years, well, probably about 5 years ago, their owner passed away, and they sold to another company who unfortunately had a homegrown system that they wanted to keep. And so they went away from the Prophet 21 system. Wasn't in their best interest to do that. But, all you can do is try to help people understand what this system can do and how important it is to the success of your business.
And when you solve problems, you always become a hero. And
yeah, like I said, it's a big ego trip. I mean, in that you can go in and either recommend a third-party package that they didn't know they had available to them, or maybe help them enhance a third-party package. And a lot of times it's just helping them understand how the system works and that they can do all kinds of things without going to third-party packages. I think in today's world, the third-party packages are almost a mandatory. I don't think there's any computer system out there in the world that's going to do every single thing every customer wants. I mean, just imagine what the cost of that kind of a system would be.
Exactly.
So the cost of adding on a third-party package is a whole lot less than if you went out to try to find that perfect answer.
Exactly. And that's exactly the problem we solve as well, right? Because like you rightly said, you don't want one system to do everything. You get the best of whoever is offering what, right? And then, we make systems talk to each other, right? So you would use our integration platform, right? The DCKAP Integrator, and connect the third party with the ERP. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If there's a really good application out there that can integrate with Epicor, then why not? Epicor has taken some third-party packages that they used to promote, and they've brought some of those things in-house. Some of those things they've done very well, and some of those things they haven't, because the other companies have been building on that platform for years and years and years and years. And Epicor comes in almost green, so to speak, and are trying to build one from scratch. And they do a decent job, but there's that other third-party package is always a step ahead of them, because for everything they are learning that they can do, you're probably already doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not, and I think that's one of the reasons they went to using APIs, is I think they finally realized that we don't have to have it all in-house. Distributors still in today's world would like for everything to be in-house. We want one contact. We want one company. We want one support line we have to call. We don't want to have to call 5 different people to get an answer to a question, because each one we call goes, well, that's not a Prophet 21 problem. That's a so-and-so problem. And then you call so-and-so, well, that's a Prophet 21 problem. And a lot of people got, kind of a negative connotation of using third-party packages because of that. And that's changed. Today, I think you get a better, what I find is that most third-party packages today know almost as much about Epicor Prophet 21 as Epicor Prophet 21 does. And I think that's a testament to folks like you, that you take the time to learn how people are using it, how they, what their pain points are, and you're a partner and not just 2 softwares sitting side by side, talking to each other, but not really communicating, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And automation and integration is the key, like you rightly pointed out. And also Epicor does a really good job at this, right? In terms of, like you said, they understand that they can do everything. And if there's another solution out there which does something better than them, hey, let the distributor choose that, and then use a platform like the DCKAP Integrator to integrate these 2 systems. Yeah. I'm just curious to understand the history of ERP, right? So when you started, what was the ERP like? And how has it evolved?
So when I started, we had a homegrown computer system in the company that I first was working with. And it was happened to be written by a friend of mine. And they had worked on this homegrown system for a long time. In those days, a lot of people did that. They found someone that could write code, and they weren't going out and buying software. at the time that Epicor first came into being, it had proprietary hardware. So a lot of people, my company was one of them, that didn't want to buy them because if I had a hardware problem, I was in Virginia at the time, they had to send someone from Pennsylvania.
And what was this hardware for?
It was to run the operating system of the original Prophet 21 software.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was proprietary hardware. Yeah. So some years later, and for us, a computer at that point honestly wasn't much more than a calculator. It let us do certain things. Our version of it didn't integrate with anything in accounting very well. A lot of original ERPs didn't do that. They expected you to go buy some other accounting software. And then Epicor went from their original version to something they called Acclaim, which was using a RISC 6000. It wasn't SQL. I guess it was DOS-based, and I'm not big on software technology, so that could be wrong. But that was an enhancement. They had an integrated accounting package. Wasn't great, but it was there, and it was part of this original package. And they didn't offer third-party stuff. I mean, there just wasn't any way to integrate it. Very, very time-consuming system to use. Everything was reports. Everything, you didn't email anything out of the system. That was just unheard of. We were really excited when fax machines came about. And our first fax machine was probably the size of this room. So that's the good advantage of being old. See, as you get to see all these things as the world changes. And, now you do everything with your phone just about. So from the Acclaim software, they moved to a SQL based, and it got even better. And then eventually they moved to web browser. And honestly, me today, I think that's just the best thing they could have ever done. They stumbled a little bit trying to get it started. I think they were in a hurry to get it started, and as such, maybe offered it a little too soon. But we all waited patiently before we made the change. And I have a Prophet 21 system myself. I run my business on it, and I use it a lot for just doing testing and helping customers figure out why things are going wrong with their system. But that's kind of the, long story. Give you the progression of where we went from almost like a calculator to to really something that almost does it all.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see this evolution of an ERP, right?
Yes.
Right from where it started to today. And I feel like, we're just scratching the surface and we have a long way to go, so it's really, really interesting. Tell us about AI, right? So you have seen technology kind of right when it started. Mm-hmm. And, now where we're talking about AI. So,
well, now I'm an old dog, okay? And I love the concept of AI. But as a customer, I have to confess, a lot of times I don't like it. I think the world is maybe moving a little too far away from human interaction. And I don't know that business will ever be fun as it is today if you can't at least develop some relationships with human beings. But there's phenomenal opportunity with AI, so hopefully we'll use it for all the right things and not for all the wrong things.
No, definitely, right? It really depends on what the AI does too, right? So I'll just share a personal story. I was checking into the hotel and they had this automatic check-in. I thought, okay, let me just check in automatically instead of going to the human, right? I just wanted to try it. Mm-hmm. Okay. I came in a little early and it let me check in, and then I got a room, but I was not too happy with the room they assigned to me, right? And then I had to go back to the hotel, and then they said, hey, unfortunately, they'll not be able to change the room, because it's already assigned. But then, you're right. I can relate to it a little bit. Let's say, had I gone to a human, maybe, right? The human could have told me, you know what, this is a better room, or that's a better room. Absolutely. And all that, right? So I think that's one thing. But I also think it's a problem with the system itself, right? Maybe if AI had told me, right, hey, show me all the choices, mm-hmm. Hey, this is what you're getting, then that would have been better. But It's not there yet, but it's evolving.
And I think you're exactly right. I think my dislike, for lack of a better word, of AI, and I don't dislike it. I do see real value there. But the same thing happened to my son. He and I are both here in Las Vegas. to have a mother-son vacation in addition to working. And we tried the same thing and we both hated it and we could not get it to work. So what was funny is we went ahead and got in line to check in while he was doing the app. So figuring if he couldn't get it done, we wouldn't lose our place in line. So we were able to get to a human and get checked in. But internet, everybody wants you to do an app now. Nobody wants you to just, come in and talk to them and say, have a nice day. I hope we just don't lose the humanity.
No, I think that's very important. No, I totally resonate with that, right? As much as the AI talk and AI being there, AI is very important. We as humans need to leverage it, but then that human touch elevates the whole experience in a big way. And those are the companies, right, who leverage AI and who also have that human touch. They're the ones who are going to prosper. And
they're the ones I want to work with, because I don't want people to lose the sight of the fact that the AI is still talking to a human being. I don't know what's going to happen when AI is talking to AI. God help us, I guess, because I just don't know what's going to happen. That's going to happen sooner or later. But having human touch, I think, is still important.
In your career spanning over 50 years, what has been your most proudest moment?
Oh, my goodness. There's been so many. I don't know that I have. For me, my proudest moment is helping a customer solve a problem that he knows is going to impact his business. I get emails from customers periodically. I just got one recently. One of my favorite customers, I've worked with them for years and years and years and years. And he started out, when I first met him, they were still, and this has only been a few years ago, they were still doing their accounting on the graph paper. They were still doing everything manually. And his father had started the business, and the father was doing the accounting, and the father was not going to get away from paper. So what we did is I came in and I showed them how to make Prophet 21 work. And so in the background, the son and I were doing the accounting inside of Prophet 21, making sure it still met the same thing as the green graph sheets did. His father retired a few years ago, and now the son who owns the company has just sold it because he's ready to retire now. And he happened to sell it to another company. He was also a Prophet 21 user, but he sent me an email and he said, I just want to thank you for all that you've done to help us. He said, these people told me that I was the cleanest, best P21 system they had ever integrated into theirs. And he said, and he was giving me a lot of credit for that. Well, in all honesty, the credit goes to him because he was the one that made sure that we did things right and that he didn't give up and just try to stay on the paper side of things. So those probably are my happiest moments when I can see that I've really helped them not just solve a problem, but grow their business and, keep the right employees in the right jobs, because it's just the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, not just solve a problem, but grow your business. I think that's very important.
Yeah, my goal is always to help them grow their business without adding bodies until the business has grown so much that you just have to add a body. But I used to work for a company and I was there for 18 years and we didn't do a very good job at that way back when. So every time our business grew, we had to go hire people. So we basically threw away all of our profit because everything we did was adding more bodies. And as as I grew and matured, hopefully in my career, I tried to learn how to do things without adding more people.
Yeah, absolutely right. You learn by doing things and you learn by experience, really well said. The theme of this podcast is driven. You have been in the industry for over 50 years. What keeps you going and how are you driven?
It's the people. It's the customers I work with. I've often told my customers that industrial distribution has been one of those industries that, in my opinion at least, is still very, very customer service oriented. I think you find a lot of companies now, it's more about making $1 and they don't really care if you're happy or not. You're either going to use their product or not. And I don't know how people grow that way, but obviously they do. But we care. A lot of these companies are very family oriented. And for me, it's a passion. I always tell people, if you're going to do anything in life, find the thing that you're passionate about because it makes it fun. And my customers keep telling me that I hope you never retire, or I hope you don't retire until I do, because we all have really good relationships. And it kind of goes back to that AI thing. I mean, if I just had an automated solution thing for the customers, I'd never get to know them.
Exactly.
And
So
that's what keeps me going.
it's about the people and relationships and not about just the agent, right? Agent
Yeah.
Carolyn, not like that.
And for me, it's not just about making money. It's about helping first. And yes, I'm in the business for money. So sure, I mean, I need to make a living, but I don't need to nickel and dime them to death. I don't need to charge an exorbitant fee just because I can. You know, if I'm below what the other people charge, I like that. Not because I want to make the other people look bad. I just feel like I'm getting a decent pay for the work I do. I don't charge when I can't solve a problem because I feel like I've just wasted their time talking to me because I couldn't really help them. I will have to say that is, I think I can probably count on one hand with some fingers left over the number of times that that's happened. But I've been extremely blessed to have hundreds of mentors in my life, lots of people willing to share what they know with me so that I can go out and share it with my clients. And that drives me.
That's awesome, right? So these are great work ethics everyone can learn from. Carolyn, I would like to end with this question. What's something you're reading right now or something you're listening to?
Oh my goodness. Now that's a hard thing for me. The thing that I will tell you, the thing that I haven't started rereading, so this is going to be a reread, is, you know, I'm not I believe in God. So, you know, I'm not a super religious person, I guess, but I certainly believe in God, is to go back and read the Bible. And I've started doing that. I'm slow at it, but I've started doing that.
So thank you so much, Carolyn. Really enjoyed chatting with you on this Driven by DCKAP podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you for joining our Driven by DCKAP podcast. Your support means a lot to us. If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button and subscribe. Consider leaving us a review. Thank you for joining us.